Are you a senior pastor, executive pastor, staff pastor, or ministry leader? Are you serving Christ Church in some kind of leadership capacity? If you are, I can guarantee you that you've had this feeling. Here it is. I feel alone in this. That's right. Many pastors today and ministry leaders feel alone in the ministry. They feel alone in their leadership responsibilities and the things that they need to do to move the church forward. Here's some things that may surprise you or may remind you of a current reality in your own life. Here it is. Pastors struggle with isolation, emotional weight, and a lack of support. Sometimes pastors feel they don't have the support they need to move the ministry forward. Sometimes they feel they don't have the right support to grow themselves so that they can grow others. Yes, they can preach. Yes, they can teach, but they're not growing in their leadership development. They don't have the support. They don't have the tools. They're not sure what to do next and how to get started. Secondly, many pastors feel they must always be the strong one. They have to be the Samson with this great strength. They have to be Daniel with this life of prayer that never falters. They have to be others in the Bible that we know were men just like us, but they weren't perfect either. They struggled. They had challenges, and they weren't always the strong one. They had moments of weakness like you and I often have. So pastors, sometimes they feel like they need to be the strong one. They have to show confidence and clarity and competence and all these things. And what do? They suppress their own struggles and insecurities and challenges and problems. And that's usually the beginning of a road that goes downhill. This is a reality in ministry today. Pastors struggle, ministry leaders struggle, they have challenges, they have conflicts, they get wounded by church members, they get wounded by people in their own family, they get abandoned by their friends. Leaders leave the ministry without informing them. They just bail out. That impacts pastors. That impacts ministry leaders. How can you grow a church? How can you grow yourself when all of this is happening? You just feel like you're in isolation and there's no one to come alongside and support you. But I want you to notice this next statement. Significant percentages report, talking about pastors and ministry leaders, loneliness, emotional exhaustion, and carrying others' pain, the pain of others. I know because I'm an executive pastor, and there are times that people share things with me, and if I could be brutally honest, it brings me down. It's heavy. It's so heavy because of what they're experiencing and the empathy I have and the compassion I have for my people. It's a heavy thing. Ministry is heavy. It wears on us as pastors and ministry leaders. But notice, a significant percentage, high percentages of pastors report that they're alone. They have emotionally exhausting ministries. They don't feel they can take a break. They don't feel like there's a way out. They just have to suck it up, like my old baseball coach used to say, and just do the work. And then they're carrying their own pain, and then they're carrying the pain of others as well. That's exhausting. No wonder pastors and ministry leaders feel alone in the ministry. Notice the next one. Pastors have huge responsibilities without safe spaces for reflection, growth, or challenge. You and I know we are responsible. We are spiritually responsible for people's lives, for the spiritual health and growth of other people. We are shepherds after all. What do shepherds do? They feed their flock. They protect their flock. They direct their flock. As Jesus leads us, we lead them. He's the one in charge, but we're the shepherd that he's placed in charge of people. That's a huge weight of responsibility. It's a privilege, but if we don't have a safe space, notice, a safe space for reflection. we just go from one week to the next? How often do we stop and reflect on what we've done, on what God has done in our midst, in our ministry, how God has healed people, how certain relationships when we thought were hopeless, they came back together and God's grace broke through? How often do we reflect on decisions that we've made, good decisions and bad decisions? And how often do we just think, okay, what lessons did I learn from this? How can I use this again to serve people better? There's often not space for that. There's often not other people for us to trust outside of our congregation to help us walk through that process. And then we have growth. How often do we get with other pastors and challenge them and allow them to challenge us and say, hey, what are you doing to grow? What are you doing to grow your marriage? What are you doing to grow your prayer life? What are you doing to grow your devotional life? What are you doing to grow in the area of your health, to get in better shape and not have to walk up the stairs and you can't breathe because you haven't walked a mile in the last 10 years? How can we be more inviting to help others challenge us in our growth? And then last but not least, this challenge that we're facing. This is an unusual challenge. How can we create the space to allow others in to give us godly feedback and coaching? We need that as pastors. We spend so much time giving that sometimes the well can dry up. I hope and pray that your well is full so that you can continue to give others life everlasting through the saving message of Jesus Christ. You don't need more pressure. I'm convinced of that. I don't need more pressure. You may be a children's ministry director, a youth pastor, a youth leader. You may be over the IT in your church, a technology administrator, whatever it is that you do for Christ's kingdom. I can guarantee you that you don't need or want more pressure. But notice, you need a new place to think, process, and grow. There it is. You need a new place to think, process, and grow. To think leadership thoughts, to process leadership situations, and to grow as a leader. So you say, okay, Marcel, I hear what you're saying. I know that I have felt alone in ministry at different points, and I've struggled in maybe one or more of these areas. But what can really help me to grow as a leader? What can really help me serve people better and empower people in a way where I can make more disciples, develop more people, and empower people to do the work of the ministry? I want to propose to you one thing that has really helped me over my lifetime, and more specifically in the last 5 to 10 years. I want to invite you to consider becoming a certified coach. More specifically, an ICF certified coach. ICF stands for International Coaching Federation. I serve as an executive pastor, as I mentioned before, but I also serve as a level 1 accredited ICF coach education provider. I work with pastors and ministry leaders and business leaders to help them get from where they are in their leadership to where they want to be by helping them to develop new leadership skills. That's what this is all about, helping you to develop new leadership skills, to develop a new way to lead your people with greater confidence, with greater confidence. So here's what I'm asking you to do. I would like you to text the phrase ICF coach to my personal cell phone. Here it is, 786-554-0312. 786-554-0312. Text ICF coach to that number. And when you do, I'll circle back with you. We'll set up a time to talk either at that moment, if you're free, or when you're best available. We'll have a conversation. We'll see if becoming an ICF certified coach is the right fit for you to grow in your leadership. There's no pressure. There's no timeline or hard deadline. It's simply a conversation to see if it's a right fit for you and or for your team. Text ICF Coach to 786-554-0312, and I look forward to serving you.